This is my Emerson, I believe it's a Northwind fan. I've had this for just about a year now, and it's always had a problem with the bearings. They're kind of sticky, and sometimes it'll run fine, and sometimes it won't. So I'm going to turn it on real quick. It's a pretty big fan. That's just compared to a Milwaukee Impact, or not Milwaukee, DeWalt. 3-in-1 oil. But yeah, it's a pretty large fan. It oscillates. It's got a little slop in it, but there's also some oil on the oscillation mechanism that it's kind of dirty, and I'll probably clean that up. But I'm gonna start it up real quick. See, it's super slow, and if I turn it to low, it just kind of comes to a stop. If I left it like that for too long, it'd probably burn itself up. But it's much better than when I first got it. When I first got it, it was completely locked up. Like, it would, if I put it on high, it would just barely turn. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking this thing apart. I'm gonna go ahead and take the screw off for the blade. You might hear a little thunder out there. It's probably about to rain. I posted about this fan on the AFCA forums, and I was basically told that it wasn't really a collectible fan. I bought it because it kind of caught my eye. I really like the color, and the badge on the front is in really nice condition. There is a version of one of these that I found at another antique store. I ended up not picking it up because, I mean, it was in pretty rough condition. But it was like a baby blue instead of the color that it is right now. I don't really know what kind of color that is. Kind of like a brownish gray. I've never really taken this fan apart before. I've taken this back cover off just to put a little bit of oil in it. I ran this fan one time for about 30 minutes on high, and I think just the resistance from the bearings made the motor, it got super hot to the point it was pretty painful just to rest my hand on it. And I'd like to use this fan because it's really nice for what it is, how old it is. Also, actually, this antique store that I bought this from closed down the other day, and I'm pretty bummed about that. But also in the booth where this came from was from what I was told, an old century pot metal fan. And I mean, this thing, compared to this thing right now, is probably about that big with the cage. It was huge. Same with the other Emerson Northwind fan at that other antique store. It is also pretty big. I'm having to do some crazy stuff just to get that wrench on there. But I think now, if I can find my magnet thingy. Oh, here it is. It already has screws in it. I'm gonna just set it on. Just use one of these. Those are still tight. I don't know exactly when this fan was made. I'm assuming from around maybe around 1960. I know it's later because it's not really built. I mean, it's heavy. It's a really heavy fan, but it's not like cast iron heavy. I never posted a video about it, but up on my shelf up here, just barely up there, you might be able to see the foot of it. There's I can probably read the model number. It's a Kenmore model 124.8040 fan, but the blades are very unbalanced. I would run it, but it'd probably fall off my table. And that's that assembly. I'm going to set this to the side so it doesn't get scratched. Wow, that is very stiff to turn. So with one of these motors, it should, when it runs, now I'm not going to run it for very long without airflow, but when it runs and when it coasts down, it should take a couple seconds to coast down. Oh, and that it even spun up slow there. But if I let it coast down right now, see, it just comes to an immediate stop. So it's really not good. Probably in the past, someone used just generic 3-in-1 oil, which will 100% lock up the motor. Now it's, hate me all you want, but I use that 3-in-1 oil for now until I'm able to find some Zoom spout, because I really want Zoom spout. Until I find some somewhere, when I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna get some. But on the bigger motors, that's dirty. All you have to worry about is just them drying up, because pretty sure those can dry up pretty fast. The detergent 3-in-1 oil in the normal red bottle. So the video I posted, actually you can see the stator right there. I ended up putting the 1/15 horsepower General Electric split phase motor back together, and I ran it for a little while, and it ran fantastically. And I didn't film it, but I fixed the wiring on the back. The wiring was so bad, it was insane. But the front housings, no, not front housings, the front and back housing leaked oil. I've never had that happen before, but it dripped oil, and it got all on the inside of the motor, and was just, it got caught in the rotor fan blade, and it slung that oil everywhere. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to have to take this oscillator pin out. But I'm currently kind of trying to ponder how I could get the old oil out, because I think it was just overfilled at some point in its life, and that's all that happened. Okay, this thing's dirty. So that's where you put in the oil, right there. There's a little spout, and everything else in here looks fine. I ain't gonna clean that cover up right there, because that's got a whole bunch of grease and stuff on it. Looks like that screw right there is eaten up. Wonder how that happened. Wow. These bolts kind of look like they might be hard to get to. I might... Where's my wrench? Might be a size smaller or metric. Oh, so close. No, it's definitely American, so. I'm actually probably going to use an impact driver to get these out, because if that looks as tore up as it is, let's try real quick. This one seems like it could be somewhat loose. I'm going to go ahead and reattach this oscillator mechanism. It's going to get annoying just trying to move around on my bench. This one has different settings for an oscillation. This one, it can, there's a minimum and max oscillation, and then there's a setting for zero oscillation. But it's just changed with that screw. On the old Emerson 29646, might be a different model, I don't know. On those old fans, they just had a screw that you could loosen, and I'm pretty sure you could move the whole mechanism for wherever you wanted it. I don't remember how exactly those are made. Yeah, this is, I don't know how I'm going to get this, because none of my wrenches seem to really be able to fit that. Actually, what size is it? I might be able to find another. It's 3/8. Yeah, this seems... There it goes. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna look at those storms real quick. Alright, I'm back. Storms look fine. Actually, I was hearing a rumbling sound, and I went outside, and it was south of the storm. It was one of those Air Force planes, probably a B-52 for how loud it was. They fly around here and do aerial refueling training. And it can get pretty loud. It's getting hot in here. I don't really want to turn the air conditioner on because it might be too loud. I'm gonna go ahead and try this one that's all messed up. I don't know how this one will go. Okay. Yeah, I definitely can see why that's kind of stripped. I'm gonna go grab some WD-40, see if I can. Oh yeah, that's empty. I'll try it. Actually, I think this has been taken apart before because this nut looks kind of like it's on backwards. Like the flat part or the rounded part is on the chassis. Just barely. Of course, when I went to go to close it all. I'm gonna try to get this off camera. Alright, so I quickly tapped it with an impact driver, and we'll see if that loosened it up at all. I know it's just turning the nut on the other side, but it might be able to just barely loosen it up. I'm actually going to try the impact driver just one more time. Not the impact driver. Starting to test my patience. It's still turning. Alright, I'm going to try some more things off camera and I will be back. Okay, I decided to turn the air conditioner on, but I finally got this thing off. Oh my gosh. And I think actually the person that put this on last cross-threaded it because these threads are all, I don't know if it'll focus on that. These threads are all eaten up and like mashed down, and the screw also came with some metal flakes. So that's gonna be replaced probably. Now I seriously hope none of these other ones are like that. Oh, that one's actually already loose, okay. That gives me a break. I sat there for 5 minutes, just constantly turning and turning and turning. I finally got it backed off enough to where I could get a pair of vice grips on it, and then, I mean, if I didn't put the vice grips on it, then it probably would have just stripped out that screw all the way, because it got pretty bad. I did actually use that impact driver again, and it did help. Actually, I used the impact driver because I changed bits on it, and this one is actually a little bit wider than the other one I was using. So that really, really helped. This one's threads look much better. Wow, this one down here cooperate. These are already loose. What is going on? Just recently, I didn't film it because I really don't like this fan. There's not an Emerson, a Lasco Triple Air Model 52. Same model that would have been the old Lasco window fans, but it was a stand fan, not like a pedestal fan, but it was on like a swivel stand, and the motor on it was locked up, but it was a very early style shaded pole motor. Still looks like any shaded pole motor you'll find today, but it was just, the clearances were so tight. I used wire nuts to attach the wires because I was putting a really heavy gauge wire on a small gauge wire, and the wire nuts took care of that, but the wire nuts had to be in a perfect spot in order for it to fit properly. Oh, this is pulling the stator. I don't want that to happen. I think the stator's actually connected with the... Oh gosh, how am I going to do this? I might have to unbond these wires. Gosh, I really don't want to do that. I want to just take the... No, well, I'd have to take the stator out anyway. Take the stator with anyways, because this is bonded to the stator too. So, well, I don't know what to do then. Yeah, I could just pull the... I'm gonna take some pictures of this wiring and then, I guess, take the wire nuts off. Alright, I took the pictures that I needed. If this fan doesn't work after, all hope is not lost. I know how to wire. How in the world do these people put these wire nuts on? They're tight. Okay, that wire just broke. And that wire just broke. That's not a good start. Okay, and those are fine. That's weird. There it is. And unfortunately, these look kind of burned. See that darkness up there? Man, who cares? If it runs, it runs. If it don't, it don't. I can definitely tell it's the front bearing that's the bad one because, that's very slimy. That's the rotor. And this is just a generic shaded pole motor. And ironically, this one also has the same problem. It leaked oil into that base. That's funny. So that's not my only thing that leaks oil. I'm talking about my other General Electric motor. Overall, the windings look fine. That darkness, probably half burnt up. And I knew it was like that because I could see it through those vents. I knew it was kind of burnt. But that hotness that it's getting, probably just because those turns are shorted, but who cares? It runs. Wow. This is super light. I thought this was gonna be actually kind of heavy. I have another one. These are about the same weight. This one is way smaller and way newer. Wow, Emerson really cheaped out on this one. Set this aside. What is I think that fell out of my rag. Just some electrical tape. That didn't fall out of my rag. What was that? Little pieces of plastic. It's fine. I'm sure it is. He's back here. Needs cleaning really bad. Might have just got my head in the shot, but it's fine. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit in here. That's not reaching. Oh, we're going to have Q-tips. Oh, there is a thrust washer in there. I need to get that. That dried up oil is kind of holding it in there. Wires. Oh. Is that on the screen? It's sticking. Oh, it fell. It is sticking to the front of the shaft. So that's definitely very ungood oil. It's green. I don't know why it's green, but it's green. That's another thrust washer. Where did I just put those pliers? I'm gonna put some heat shrink on these lead wires here just to make sure they don't fray and cause a ground fault, because that other little fan motor I had, that one with the stator sitting just above that what I'm working on, it was shaking enough. It probably have a ground fault. One of those wires was frayed super bad, like super bad. So where's my scissors? Where are my scissors? I'm not going to cover the whole thing, I'm just going to do a little bit. Maybe where it comes out of the bases, or the head of the fan. Which would probably do that there. This other wire, well, which one? Yeah, that one feels like it's about to break. It could need it. I'll put it on that other one too. I don't even know if I use a lighter on heat shrink. It just seems to work better. I don't feel like getting out of heat guns, so. I'm gonna go find the lighter and I'll be back. Alright, I got some heat shrink on these wires. Now, what I have to say about that poor heat shrink job is don't buy Storehouse or Harbor Freight heat shrink. This black heat shrink was just a little bit bigger than this green stuff, which is also Storehouse, but it was in its own kit. But this came in just a bundle of electrical stuff, and it was just about the size of this green heat shrink, and it barely shrunk at all, and it was all loose on there, and it was gonna fall off anyways. So I really don't recommend buying Storehouse. I'll show you this stuff. It was that black heat shrink. It comes in these long tubes, which is nice for long wires, but I mean, you can see down at that base where it didn't shrink all that well, and that has a fray in it. I need to get that, but it didn't. It really didn't shrink all that well. Oh, there's a piece right there. Oh, it's probably not going to go over. Now, I found a trick the other day. If there's wires that are already soldered, and you don't really want to unsolder them, desolder, whatever you call it, to put heat shrink on the wire, I found that it looks decent, and it also works pretty good to cut the heat shrink lengthwise, and then put a couple zip ties of your choice, preferably small ones. But that's what was done with this motor up here. There's some paper on the windings. You can just barely see it up there. There's some paper on the windings, and they were tied with originally like some string, but zip ties work too. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some heat shrink on that because I already put that lighter away. I didn't think I would need it, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, and I got it all kind of decent looking. So I'm gonna do something, and a lot of y'all's not gonna be happy about it. But like I said earlier, I don't have any good zoom spout oil on me. I don't have any good motor oil, unless sewing machine oil would work. But I don't like sewing machine oil. It's too thin. But when I put this back together, I'm gonna use my 3-in-1 oil. Oh no. Wait, do I have everything? No. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this back in. Actually, I'm going to zip tie these leads together just so it doesn't, it's just so it's not everywhere. Oh, I'm done. I had to turn the air conditioning vent away from me because it was putting out my lighter. Same with the box fan behind me. I had to stand in front of it. I can definitely tell this is supposed to be done with the wire grommet not in the motor, in the motor. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this, around this stator. There's still some thin oil, and that can deteriorate those windings. I don't want that. So that's probably why these people took it apart before, was because this is a new grommet. So reason to take it apart, but gotta put those bolts back in right. Oh gosh, I'm so stupid. I forgot the front housing doesn't come off. Oh, so I have to do it all. Okay, I got this. Oh, look at that. Yeah. That was way too much. This wine needs to oozed out. Oh yeah, that's perfect. No, don't. I need to be careful with these wires because they can come undone from the stator, and then no matter what you do, you're gonna have a broken fan once you get it rewound or something. But I'm not doing that. Okay, so I'm gonna put this fan back together because this video is getting kind of long, but I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble it most of the way, do the wiring off camera, and I will be back.